Today, we're going to talk about something unpleasant but very necessary. Are you in a situation where you might be looking down the barrel of a foreclosure? Well, that's terrible, and I don't want to see that happen to you. I have a lot of experience. I got in the business in 2007. I was the genius that got into real estate right before the mortgage meltdown. But hey, I made it through the wars, and I learned a lot with dealing with people in difficult financial situations. So today I'm going to talk about how we avoid that foreclosure trap and get you on your way and back on your feet as quickly as possible. Now, ideally, I'd love to sell your house and put money in your pocket. That would be awesome. You walk away with some equity, we get you to your next property, that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, life doesn't always work out neatly like that. I'm definitely seeing some people that might have bought near the peak of the COVID market, say 2022, 2023 in particular, and you've only been in the house a couple of years. And unfortunately, something unpleasant happens. You might have a job loss, a divorce, an illness, something like that, that puts you in a situation where you can't wait out the slow market and you have to sell now. So if we can't get you that equity, what are the kind of the next least worst options is the way I like to say it, things that we're doing that we don't want to do, but we have to do. Well, let's talk about foreclosure. That's the worst. You walk away with no equity, you're gonna have a deficiency judgment from the lender for the entire amount, and that's gonna stay on your credit file for at least 4 years. So that makes getting back on your feet very difficult. So we wanna try and avoid foreclosure at all costs. Is there an interim step? Yes, there is. You may have heard something called a short sale. That's terminology we use in real estate, where you sell the house in what I would like just call generically pre-foreclosure. You know you're in a situation where it's not going to turn out well, but you actively work with me as your realtor and the bank to get an approval to sell the house below market for less than what you owe. That's not going to be fun. There is going to be a credit hit on you, but it's only going to be 2 years. And if everything else is in order, we see people after 2 years get back on their feet and buy another house. You probably are going to have a deficiency judgment as well, so we're not walking away scot-free. But when I explain this to people, I like to make the analogy, and this isn't perfect, but you get the idea. If we were going to have a violation of law, there's misdemeanors and felonies. And so obviously a misdemeanor is not great, but a felony is way worse. Well, think about that in this world when we're trying to avoid foreclosure. The short sale is not great, but the foreclosure is worse. So if that becomes an option, if you need to sell and you can't pay off your mortgage balance, because now it's not only what you paid for the house, but now when you're the seller, you're gonna have real estate expenses. So if we can't cover all that, first of all, I'm very versed in pricing. I've been doing this 18 years. I'm gonna do a tight financial analysis to figure out where do we really stand? Because it's not the time for pie in the sky, and fairy tales and wishes. We need to be clear-eyed to say, where are you at? Because maybe we can get you out with a little bit of equity or at least break even. We need to know that. If not, is short sale an option? And what does that look like and how long would it take? So again, the payoff in this video is we're gonna talk about that short sale option when it's necessary and what do you have to do to go through that process. The number one thing is communicate with your lender. We're gonna have you get with the lender and open those lines of communication so they're working with us proactively. Going into a bunker and just kind of hiding is the worst thing you can do. Unfortunately, what they're gonna tell you is you have to be in some distress. You need to be behind on your payments. It can't be like, oh, I lost my job and I'm in good standing with my mortgage. It's kind of a quirk or unfortunate twist to the system is you actually have to be behind to qualify for a short sale. So we don't take this lightly because I don't want anyone behind on their mortgage, and it only comes up if it's an absolute necessity that you're behind, then we're gonna do the short sale. And then there's some paperwork. They're gonna give me information that I need to complete. I'm gonna prepare market analyses, and I'm gonna do this work and make sure that I'm communicating with the lender, because there's actually gonna be 3 parties in this transaction. To get your house sold, to avoid the foreclosure, we're gonna need a buyer, obviously, but when your house is priced below market, that helps. We're gonna attract people. Number 2, we've got the buyer. They're gonna have to be involved. And then the third party that has to approve all of this is the lender. So we like to have a pre-approved short sale if possible. That way it takes some of the uncertainty out of the process. So again, I wish the best for you. I hope I can get you sold and put some equity in your pocket. That's always the goal. But if you find yourself in a situation that's difficult and challenging, and your back's kind of up against the wall because you don't have a lot of equity, you're upside down is kind of the layman's term, then reach out to me and I can help you get through the process. We can get this thing done and behind you and get your way back on your way to getting on your feet and getting into that next house down the road. If you find this information helpful, do me a favor, go ahead and put short sale in the comments. If there's other topics you'd like to see covered, go ahead and put the suggestions in the comments as well. And in the meantime, if you'd go ahead and like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. And then you'll get additional content on these type of seller-oriented topics if you hit the notification button. And again, thanks very much.